Hey everybody, Fishalati here with Fishy Review. Today I've got the Fluval AquaClear AC50 filter. This is a relatively new type of filter on the market. They've got several different sizes. This is the one for 20 to 50 gallons. I am eager to tear into this one. I have not gotten to use this one yet, and I want to see what makes it tick. What's different from the classic AquaClear filters from years ago? They've been around for years. They haven't changed the design a whole lot, but it looks like they've made some good improvements. So let's see what's in the box. Get in here. Instructions, media, that aside, let's get the filter out. Okay, what's in the bottom here? I think nothing. The trapdoor to nowhere. Okay, so what we've got in the box. This is a relatively small filter. It says 20 to 50 gallons. I would say this is like any other AquaClear type filter this size where you wouldn't want to go more than honestly 10 or 20 gallons on it. I can already see based on the size. We've got pieces here, intake pieces. There's a little sponge and the leveling device. I'll pull this out because there's more intake tube in here. And here's this is pretty classic here. It's maybe got some extra levels on it to hold your media. And so this is, as it is a classic design, this has the pump on the outside of the tank. Now, that's not my favorite. I don't like those anymore. We've come a long way in pumps. I prefer them on the inside of the tank. So this is fine. There's nothing wrong with this, except if it gets more dirty, your tank runs low on water, your power goes out, it may not restart. You always have to prime these. You always have to have water in the filter or you will fry this thing. So that is important. That in and of itself isn't a reason not to get it. It's just not my favorite. With any filter like this, the first thing you've got to pay attention to is this pump and how to clean it. So we'll check that first. It just twists and pops off, as you see. Here's a little impeller in here. These are really kind of hard to get out unless you have fingernails. Just barely do. And so then that pops out. You can take a brush this out in here. Every time you clean this filter, you should definitely do that. It fills up with gunk, and it's not going to run right if you don't have this nice and clean. Get the magnet all clean so it's not slimy. Clean off little fins. You just take a little brush. I've got some brushes. I'll put a link to the brushes in the description below. So check that out if you need brushes. So we just put this back in here just like that on the metal post. There's no extra vanishing plastic caps to disappear on this one. That's a good thing. And so we put that back in here about like this and then twist. See if I can make sure that we can see that here on the camera. Put it from this angle right here and then twist it back into place. Now, if this ever drips here, there is a gasket here, so check that gasket, make sure it's in good shape. There's some, jelly that you can get for these if you need to make sure it's got a good seal. This one's fine right now because it's new. Put that in there and twist. Now, this filter, we've got to get rid of this twist tie on the cord before it drives me crazy. What do we do with twist ties here? We get rid of them. All right. Now, in the box, we've got Biofoam Carbon Biomax. There is a big piece of little piece of blue foam. There is a bag of carbon. We'll have to rinse that before we put it on here. And there is a bag of media. I'm sure this is a dusty mess. We'll open it, see what kind of a mess I can make. Maybe I'll shake that out. Okay. Nice little ceramic cylinders. They're not rings. They're not hollow in the middle, but these would hold a lot of good bacteria. And this is great because you don't have to worry when you've got something like this in your filter. You don't have to worry about that you're changing out the filter media, which in this case is a sponge anyway, right? So it's not like you're throwing something away. You're just going to rinse this out and clean it. This is going to hold that. All you'd ever do is maybe quickly rinse this, get it back in tank water. In a perfect world, you'd do it in dechlorinated water so you don't hurt the bacteria, but I found that if you do it quickly and get it back in the tank water, it just doesn't hurt anything. This sponge, same thing. I would rinse it in tap water. You can squeeze it out in a bucket of dechlorinated water. It's, once it gets gunk on it, you just got to clean that out probably once a month or less or more, depending on how many fish you've got in the tank. So the way this goes together, though, is we take this thing that was on the inside of it. We're going to put this sponge in the bottom part and get it in there just like that. Got little spiky things here to kind of hold it in place, right? You can see this on the camera. There's a Biomax front and, well, it's pointing to the front, right? So this is the front of the thing here. So this goes in here like this towards the front of the filter. Just like that. Slide it in. And then that's all in there good. The Biomax goes in the front section like that. You always want that kind of stuff in the front normally. The carbon pouch, which we'll rinse, goes in the back here like this. Just stuff that in there. So now what you need also to do is this leveling device. You don't want this filter, let's say it's on your tank. Here's your edge of your tank here. You don't want this thing tilted backwards, because if it starts to back up, where's the water going to go? It's going to go on your floor. Then you're going to be in trouble. So make sure it's level or slightly forward. So that's what this device does. And if you've watched my videos before, yes, I talk about this all the time, but it matters. So you just figure out which way this ends up needing to be, so that it'll be level on the back of your tank. I'm going to guess that this big flat side's a pretty good average, but we'll just check it later. So you've got that. Now, on the intake assembly, this hasn't changed much over the years. This is arguably one of my least favorite styles of intake tubes. I hate this. It's just me. I don't know. The way it goes in here and the way it just sits, if we can see that, it just sits on this place where the pump goes. I don't get a warm fuzzy out of it. It's fine, it works, but you gotta put this down in there, put this little fin to the back of it. That's the way this goes. It obviously, if you can't see it, I don't know, but it slides into this front locking section, right? And the way you adjust the flow on this thing is to pivot this back and forth, which is, it's a very simple mechanism. It's clever. You know, by having it this way, you're going to get less flow because it's exposing some of that impeller. If you put it this way, that's maximum flow. These filters, to me, seem like they prime better on the lower flow. I don't know why. If you're having trouble with it priming, put it on the low flow, which is kind of counterintuitive. But put that back to full flow. Then you've got the two little pieces here. They just snap together. Depending on how deep your tank is, you may or may not need both of them. For what I'm going to put this on is a really dirty 20-gallon that I want to abuse this filter with. So I will definitely put both pieces here so it can go down towards the bottom as much as possible. Now, the last piece we've got here is this little sponge that it comes with. These are the little Fluval sponges. There's some, I'll put a link in the description too for these. There's some sellers on Amazon that have a replacement for these. It's probably cheaper than getting it from Fluval. And you get a multi-pack of them. The funny thing about these filters is I bought them once, and I thought they were 5 inches tall, you know, because there's no perspective on Amazon. And I get them at home, and they're this big. And they're good for a couple things. They're good for the top fin filters. If you're putting something on top of that overflow, that's in a different video. But put this on there just like that, and that will keep this filter from sucking up your shrimp, baby fish, whatever. In this case, I'm going to have it on a tank with a bunch of plant matter in it. I don't think I want to get that all caught up in the impeller here. So I will have the sponge on here for now. It's going to clog up fast. Maybe I'll net out some of the big stuff on that tank first. So there's no fish in the tank right now. It just had a bunch of plants that melted, and I haven't really had a lot of fish, so the plants weren't happy. Now we've got the lid. Not much there to say. The lid goes on top, right? That's it. There's no special indicators on here, nothing to say that the thing needs to be serviced, any of that. So it's just a simple plain old lid. So, you know, it looks like they've changed it a bit. It's still basically the same filter. The Fluval C3, for instance, was similar to this, where you could put extra media in here and such. It had a complicated wet-dry system on the top. And I've done a video on that if you want to check that one out. But, you know, this one is a little simpler, and I'm okay with that. The other one was fine, but I think they're going to be kind of a similar filter in terms of performance. So before I put this filter on the tank, if you like the video so far, be sure to hit that like button so it'll help other people find this video. And if you like this video, if you haven't subscribed already to the channel, hit subscribe. You'll find more videos like this in the future. So let's go check out this filter going on the tank. Okay, I've got this filter on the tank. And the most important thing to remember on these filters is they can't be started dry, right? So let's get some water in there. There, it's all filled up. And now we'll plug it in. There we go. Water is starting. Working on it, trying to get itself primed. You know, see, struggling. I'll move it to the side. Look how much faster it primes on low flow. Why is this? Now I'll move it back. And you can see it's higher flow because now it just fills this whole spillway. That's how it's meant to be. So keep that trick in mind when you're starting this filter. Just a little trick about the Fluval filters. Good way to start them. And there we go. Let's bring the camera down here. This tank is bad, okay? Yes, it is really bad. But look at, you can see the water coming in here. You can see the fish poop tornado that's forming. We'll give this a little bit of time and see what it looks like later on. Five minutes later. Okay, maybe not 5 minutes. You can see that intake sponge really full of all that stuff that was in the water. This thing's pulling hard. It's, of course, slowing down the flow quite a bit. So I'll have to pop that off there and clean it soon. Looking good, really fast. Certainly been less than an hour at this point. So there you have it. I would put this as about a middle of the road hang-on back filter for aquariums. It says 20 to 50 gallons. As I said before, definitely wouldn't think that I would go over 20 unless you had a very lightly loaded tank, or otherwise you're going to be cleaning the filter every day. You don't want to do that either. So a few upgrades from the classic model, but otherwise it's the old tried and true design they've had for so many years with some added perks. If you like this filter, check out the link in the description below and you can get one yourself. If you do that, it helps out the channel a little bit, just a tiny bit. In the future, if I need to do a follow-up on this, it'll show up over here. If I haven't done one yet, it'll point you to some other video that you might enjoy as well. So this is Fluval here, signing off. Remember, everybody, keep it fishy and have fun. Thanks.